All right, hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode of the Magic Morning Wood. As always, I'm your host, Ron. With me is
Ratchet Ralph.
Ratchet Ralph, Clive D.
That's me.
What's up, Clive D? Yo, it's like you're the Beastie Boy. Yo, I'm Ad Rock, and I'm the Ratchet Clive D.
I see.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, tell me now, Ronald, before we get into the or Ronaldi, before we get into the meat
Ronaldinho,
of the
if you will.
matter today, isn't this about the time of year when you do your Oscar watch?
It is.
And have you been doing that this year?
And I tried, but as I've just been telling you off camera,
Hmm.
my computer has been screwing up these days, and I
Ah,
haven't been
okay.
able to. And so I've watched a couple of things, but for the most part, my computer is like freezing and really slow, and everything that I have available to watch, I haven't been able to actually watch
I
it.
see, I see. Because
So
usually this
I'm
time
quite
of year,
behind. Yeah, I'm quite behind this year. I was gonna like scale it down and just do kind of the bigger ones this year rather than doing even all the little ones. But even still, I haven't been able to watch everything just because I've been like sort of shackled by the limitations of
I
my
see.
hardware.
'Cause,
So
we do like to check in with you this time. Usually it's after the Valentine's show, right? We talk about it a little bit. But you've seen have you seen of the few things that you have seen? Have you seen anything of note that you'd like to flag up or
well, I'd say the one that I really enjoyed, which was the one that you told me about, which was the Substance.
right, yeah, that
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
lot of fun, isn't it? Is that up
yeah.
for what's that up for then?
Yeah, it's up for a bunch of stuff like Pitcher and Demi Moore's up, and she's actually the favorite to win Best Actress, I think. And yeah, a bunch of other stuff.
He'll turn up later in this show.
Demi Moore,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. She's actually coming on the show, like
That's
physically,
right.
right?
Yeah, we're just waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, five Oscars. Let's see, makeup and hairstyling, of course, obviously for the creature stuff at the end, right?
Right.
Um, Best Picture, Director, uh, Demi Moore, and Screenplay. It's up for. So
Okay.
that was quite good. I just
Do you
saw
find that
last night.
surprising? I mean, I really enjoyed Substance.
Yes,
I mean,
I do find it surprising. I didn't think
yeah.
that they would. I was like when
No.
the nominees came out, I was like, oh, that one really. I was like, I really enjoyed that, but it's not what I would expect to be
No,
nominated
not
for the
at all.
picture.
It's
And so yeah, I don't think it's a favorite to win that anyway. But
uh
yeah, so but I think I'm glad it did because it was definitely an outlier as a kind of
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not an Oscar baity kind of movie. So
No, but at the same time, I also kind of I don't know if I'm entirely comfortable with the idea of all the films that came out this year. This is the pinnacle of cinematic achievement either.
sure, yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's a fun film. Don't get me wrong, I really
sure,
enjoyed it,
yeah.
but I'm not sure if it's yeah, well, yeah, anyway, at least it's something
Anyway,
fun, right? That it's not
yeah. Yeah,
boring.
anyway, so I did see that one. I saw The Brutalist.
Ah,
Uh,
yeah. I'm keen. That's
yeah.
coming out here in theaters in it's either this month or March, right?
It's out already. And one of my students I had today said she watched it
Ah, okay. Oh,
at a
I
local
better get
theater,
on that then
so
because I do want
at
to
the
see that
theater.
on a
So I
big
think
screen.
she's already seen it. So
Oh,
yeah. And obviously I didn't, of course I did it legally, so I saw it at the theater too, right?
right.
So
That's right. I was
right.
just about to say
Of
your
course.
student who you went with.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
What did you make of that?
yeah, it was good. It was very long.
Okay.
Very long. 3.5 hours.
Right.
Almost 4 hours. Um, but yeah, quite good. Yeah. What's his face uh is favorite to win.
Him.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, what's his face? What's his name? Brody.
Well,
Adrian Brody.
there we go.
Adrian Brody. Yeah. Adrian Brody is a favorite to win
It
for
was
him.
on he went did you hear him on Mark Maron?
No, I didn't. Not
It
yet.
was
No.
very I mean, yeah, it was a very how can I say like he's a good actor and all that, but fucking hell, that I've never seen anyone like deliberate quite so much about over exactly what they're going to say. How can you can imagine you'd ask him like, "Do you want eggs for breakfast, Adrian?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean eggs. First you have to kind of consider what are eggs, and yeah, it was a it was a little bit. It was a very self-absorbed kind of
Oh, really? Okay.
interview, which
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me. But
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you see the kind of uh vehicles he chooses, I guess. He seems like it must be a kind of a self-absorbed kind of guy, right? So,
you you'd think like Adrian, dude, like do like a fucking rom-com
rom
or
rom-com,
something.
yeah.
Loosen up a bit, right? Just have
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
fun.
But it was good. The cinematography was great. It was really interesting. I think it probably could have been shorter, but it kept my attention for the full 3.5 hours. It actually has like an intermission, so that tells you how long it is.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, it was. I think it floundered at a couple places, but but overall it was good, and I could see why it became like a kind of a. It's very Oscar baity though that in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
case.
I feel sorry
Um,
for that fish, the flounder. A
mm,
lot of
yeah,
bad things are said in its name.
sure, yeah,
Yeah.
poor flounder.
And
Um,
do flounders flounder more than any other fish? Like, are other fishes more go-getters, and the flounder is
I think so.
notoriously.
I think I think it's when they catch it, they bring it out, and then it kind of goes like this as it's dying. I think is probably what it's doing. So I don't know.
Don't other fish do that
I
as
think
well?
so, but I think the flounder just is the scapegoat
I
of
see.
the
So the
world, I
other
think.
fish just go straight for the death.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
just
I
die, right?
accept it.
Or they try to take you out as with like a death row, I think so.
Right, but the flounder's like,
Yeah.
oh, don't put me back. Right, okay.
Mhm.
It's lucky we know what we're talking about, isn't it, Ron?
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
The
Fisherman.
educational.
We are fishermen.
That's
It's
why there's
I
one coming on.
yeah. I also saw last night I was able to get my computer to work and I saw Anora.
Oh, I want to see that. I'm a big
Yeah, I
Schwarzenegger
think
fan.
I think you'll enjoy that movie. I think
Yeah,
it seems it was quite again not what I expected, but quite enjoyable and
right.
a lot more of a. And this is actually apparently now the favorite to it. Apparently, the Brutalist, did you hear, has some kind of scandal, an AI scandal, like maybe
Ah,
A-
yes. Yeah. Yeah, I did.
AI helped to write the script or something. Is that what it
I
is?
don't think it was the script. I think it was more a tech thing, maybe.
Tech
Or
thing. Okay, I'm
yeah,
not sure what. I just heard that it was an AI scandal, but
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
didn't qualify it. So, um, but yeah, because of that, apparently Honora has moved up to be the favorite, which is kind of surprising because it's essentially basically a comedy more
Hmm.
than I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be like a real kind of serious thing, but it's quite funny in a lot of it, and
Hmm. So
yeah,
you've
and
come
so
round to Sean Baker then, because you didn't like Florida Project at all, did you?
yes, I didn't like that one, but
Uh,
yeah, he was this one. I came around on this one, and I thought it ended quite well. Yeah, I thought I had a
we
really
did his
strong ending.
last film on day release with Robin. We did Red Rocket, the last film he did,
Okay,
and that
haven't
was
seen
really
that.
good as well.
Haven't seen that one,
Um,
so
all his films that I've seen, and I've not seen all of them, but all the ones I've seen, I've really enjoyed. I'm stoked to see this one. I was going to maybe go and see it in a theater, but then I realized a lot of it isn't in English language, right? And I don't know
no, and most of it
how
is
for
Russian.
that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. So that's why, yeah. Actually, that's another thing that's been stopping me this year is that like almost all of the pictures this year are almost all like bilingual or like mostly subtitled as well. Like
Hmm.
right. Yeah, so it's more challenging to see them this year than other previous years. So,
Do you know
um,
if did in the I'm guessing in the international category, did La Chimera get a nomination for Italy, the film with Josh O'Connor?
doesn't sound familiar.
Okay, because that's one I
International.
recently saw again for day
No,
release.
didn't.
Which was a film I was actually gonna recommend to you. Well, not recommend exactly, but I'd be very interested to see how you got on with it. But I really liked La Chimera. I think it's a fantastic
Okay.
film, and
Okay.
Josh Connor's very good.
Send me a link. I never heard of it. So
Okay, yeah,
Chimera.
it's pretty interesting.
Okay. Let's see. I also saw Doom Part Two.
I still haven't caught up with that. I missed that in the theaters, and it was one of those
Yeah,
ones
I
that was like,
I wish
if
I'd
I'm
seen
not
it in
seeing
the
it in the
theaters
theater,
because
then you know.
I saw part one with my wife in the theater and we both kind of fell asleep
Okay,
because yeah, I've kind of a love-hate relationship with Dune where it's not, yeah, my wife hated it,
okay.
but
And of course,
I
you
kind of like,
absolutely love Timothée Chalamet, as we know.
yes. Well, I don't mind Timothée Chalamet. I just didn't like, that movie. Um, Whatever his name is.
He's planning
Uh,
to kill him.
Call him by his name. Call me by his name, her name.
No,
Call
call
me
me
by
by
your
your
name.
name, Ron.
Call you
Call me
by
by
your
your
name.
name.
Call me by my name. Um, and but of course I do love Denis Villeneuve. So
Ah,
yeah, so and of course I love his kind of aesthetic and stuff. So I really thought Dune Part One was looked great. So
mhm.
I was kind of like, do I want to watch Part Two? Because it was I don't know, because do I need to go back and watch Part One because I didn't really watch the whole
Favorite
thing.
of the show, Charlotte Rampling in it as well, which was a nice
Hmm.
surprise. I didn't know she
Yes,
was in it.
she's quite good in it. But I'd say part two was actually really good. I really enjoyed part two. So even without remembering much of part one, I think part two like was probably better, even though I didn't see all of part one because I slept
Right.
through parts of it. But I'd say part two was probably
It
the
is still knocking
superior picture.
around a few theaters here in Tokyo, I think. So I might
Mhm.
see if I can
Yeah, and as
see
I
it
was
on the big
watching, I was like,
screen.
damn, I really wish I'd seen it on the big screen. Like, yeah, his like these movies deserve to be big screened. I think so.
If I
Uh,
find a screening, would you be up for watching it again, or you've had
yeah,
enough?
maybe. Yeah, sure. If
Okay,
I'm
I'll let you
available.
know
So.
if it's because I
Okay.
think I've seen it in a few places. I have a sorry tangent, but just I had a fun accidental experience at the movies recently where I went to. Have you ever been to the National Film Archive of Japan?
No.
It's quite near Tokyo Station. It's like between Kyobashi and Hachibori stations.
Mhm.
And it has a permanent, like it's a museum, so it has a permanent exhibition and stuff as well. But they also have screenings, and it's very cheap as well. It's like 500 yen, 520 yen or something, which is really cheap to see a movie, right? Um, and they put on different seasons. It's always Japanese stuff, but occasionally, every now and again, if they have a subtitled print or something, they show things with English subtitles.
Mm.
And I went along. So they have a Japanese website, and then there's a an English language website, and there's a website you might be familiar with called Tokyo Film Goer, which is a website dedicated to telling people when Japanese films are showing in Japan with English subtitles.
Oh, okay.
So I check it, every week. It's quite sometimes comes up quite useful stuff, and
Mhm.
they were showing a particular film with English subtitles, which is quite difficult to see otherwise. So I was like, okay, I'll go along and I'll see that. But when I arrived at the theater, it was wrong. They'd got their dates mixed up. So the film I wanted to see wasn't showing that day. But at the same time, they were showing another totally different film, but also with English subtitles, which
Mhm.
I was kind of on the fence about. Maybe I might go and see, I might not, but I'd already gone all the way there. So I was like, okay, fuck it, I'll watch. So I ended up watching this documentary called Red Persimmons, which is just a documentary about this uh, village in Yamanashi, I think, known for its persimmons, its dried persimmons. So it's like a super focused documentary on this little village and just the preparation of persimmons from beginning to end, like the drying process. And it was absolutely fascinating.
Mm.
And I really enjoyed it. Like it's a really
Oh,
fun little doc with all these local characters in it and stuff. And it's just a really, I really enjoy. I totally came out of left field. I didn't expect to be seeing that day anyway.
mm.
And that's a really, really, really interesting little film. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So
Cool.
if Red Persimmons ever comes along, give it a shot. Mm.
Okay. Great. Red
Anyway, sorry, tangent. Back on.
or
Any
red
more,
persimmon.
any more Oscar stuff, or is that it?
Let's see. Yes, I also saw Emilia Perez, which was the front runner for a while, which is about uh, the trans drug dealer.
Ah, okay, yes, right. I do know what it is, but I haven't really.
And it's a
Yeah,
musical as well.
yeah.
Musical trans.
Interesting.
It was really unique, I'll say that.
Okay.
Really, really out there. Like I was like, what a like first of all, I mean the story is very, it's about this like, drug kingpin, or like what do you call him? Like the, like
The Narco.
yeah, narco, like a Escobar, basically like an
Right.
Escobar kind of person who wants to, get a gender switch,
Uh-huh.
wants to,
Transition.
sorry, transition. Thank you. Is what I was looking for. Transition. And so gets this like American kind of like lawyer person to basically be in charge of like trying to set up, but do it all under the so that no one would know about it, and kind of,
Ah, right. Yes, this is coming back to
fake
me
her
now. I
death, and
remember. Yes,
that,
yes.
and stuff like that. And but the whole thing is also a musical on top of it. And I was like,
Right.
like, like, yeah, putting those two things together was quite like it's very
There's like
much
a
like
big twist halfway through, right, where someone turns up and it's isn't there? Is that what I'm? Is that the right film I'm thinking about? Where it's the person who did the surgery or something re-enters their life, or they don't know it's the same person, or
it's not a twist,
okay,
but yeah,
development then,
yeah,
complications.
well, yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah,
like she becomes a woman and then basically fakes like the death of the man that she
right.
was, and then goes off to live her life as a woman, but then decides she wants her kids back. So then she pretends to be like
That's right.
like a
Yeah,
long
yeah.
lost
Okay.
aunt, and then the wife comes in, and then but then the aunt doesn't know that it's her
Uh-huh.
ex-husband, and stuff like that. So anyway, so it's quite like a an interesting kind of, it's like, swinging for the fences kind of story, and adding musical elements on top of it, which is, it was interesting. It was definitely was a unique experience. I wouldn't say it was definitely the pinnacle
Mm.
that everyone kind of thought it was, but it was definitely an interesting watch. I'll say that for it
It
was
does
good.
does sound like there's some interesting things knocking around this
Yeah.
year. It seems a bit more varied than.
Yeah, it's more varied than kind of usual. I think so. Yeah, there's definitely things that held my attention. The ones
Surely
I'm
there must be a documentary with lots of dead
it-
infants.
yeah, I was gonna skip the ducks this year because I didn't have time, but I may at least search out the dead baby doc. At least
Yeah,
there's got
you
to be,
can't get enough. You love them
so
dead babies, don't you?
sure to be like a Ukraine one this year. So, um, I have Conclave, but my it's
Ah,
not
yeah, yeah,
looking at the
yeah.
moment. So my next I really want to see is Conclave, which is supposed to be really good. Um, I have also Nickel Boys, which I haven't seen
Ah,
yet.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That one.
Both films waiting on me. Maybe reading the books first.
Okay, yeah, I haven't. So
Yeah.
those are ones I'm still trying to get the files to work. Wicked, my family wants to see, and that comes out here on
Yeah.
Friday. So we're gonna go to the theater this next weekend to see it. So
That
it'll
is
be
one
it'll
I
be after.
probably won't be seeing.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, we're into musicals and stuff like that. So anyway, so we'll see that at theater, but it'll be a week after the Oscars. So that'll be the first
The thing
time
with
that.
something like that though as well is I feel bad almost. I just have no interest. But at the same time, I wish I did have an interest because it is one of those films as well. Um, like when the Ghostbusters reboot came out a few years, where there's so much of this horrible, toxic kind of backlash online about it that you almost just want to support, just to not be part of the that other crowd, like
Sure.
whatever their problem is with. I can't even remember. It was so fucking. I remember a lot of these things. You hear it one time, right? You hear like, oh, well, someone is, blah, 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 and you're just, oh, for fuck's sake, and you don't even remember what it is, right? You just remember some people are just fucking have too much time on their
Yeah,
hands,
yeah, yeah.
and there's
I
something
just
wrong
ignore
with
that
them.
stuff, right? So,
But I know there's something. I don't know. Someone's fucking. I don't know,
mm,
green when they should be purple or something, and
sure, yeah,
get
yeah, yeah.
read into this. I
Yeah,
don't know.
the Little Mermaid one, right? Yep.
Yeah, but to be fair, I
Um,
just in a normal world, I'm just not interested. That I wouldn't go and see it. Right, I wouldn't feel the
right,
need
right,
to defend
yeah,
it. But yeah, I'm sure it's. I've heard if you're into that kind of thing, it is actually pretty good.
yeah, right,
Uh,
yeah, sure. I think it'll be good. I've heard good things, and I've seen the musical, and so and I like
It's only half the story, right? Is that right? It's like
half. I think
part
it's
two
yeah, it's the
filming, right?
first
Yeah.
half. Yeah, I think so. But anyway, also I haven't seen A Complete Unknown yet, the Bob Dylan one.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
I'm,
and then
yeah, I don't know.
yeah, I'm
I,
not a
I have
big Bob Dylan
problems
guy,
with,
but I might watch it anyway just to see. Um,
I have problems with kind of Bob Dylan in general.
uh,
So uh, but at the same time, I am kind of interested. He's one of those people. Like I'm kind of interested, but at the same time, yeah, find him somewhat intolerable every now. I had a chance to see him once, and I
and
did.
there's another Timothy Chalamet, right? Timothy
Yes,
Chalamet.
your mate, your good
Yeah,
pal, Timothy. Um,
yeah.
I had a chance to see Bob Dylan once,
Oh, really?
in Glastonbury in 1998. And in those days, I was
Mm.
so pointedly, I made a point of not going to see him. Even though I was at the festival
Yeah.
and he was there on the main stage, I went to see something else on another stage, just to not see Bob Dylan.
That you showed him.
Oh, I think he cries about it to this day. I
Uh,
don't regret the decision because I think I saw something else really cool, but I
yeah,
do sometimes wonder like why I was quite so stridently
yeah,
against. I just thought, what's this old fart doing clogging up the fucking stage at Glastonbury? And
right.
everyone was so fucking over the moon about it. It was like, oh my God, oh Bob Dylan's, oh Bob Dylan. The reverence was like vomit inducing, like
Another one I haven't seen yet is I'm Still Here, which I don't know much about. That's a foreign one. I'm not sure about
oh, is it
much about.
foreign, is it?
Yeah, yeah, fucking foreigners.
Ugh.
But I did see a couple that weren't for Best Picture, but were up for actors and stuff. I saw Sing Sing, which was about like guys in prison doing like a drama club, putting on
Okay.
plays in prison, which is I think based on a true story. It was okay. It was kind of what you expect from a movie like that. Um, I saw The Apprentice, which was Sebastian Stan playing Donald Trump.
Oh, I saw that.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think of it?
It was quite good.
Yeah, I thought he did a good
Yeah.
job. Yeah.
I preferred it's a different film, but I preferred his previous film, which might have been up for Oscars as well, Holy Spider, right? The Iranian serial killer film,
Oh, I didn't
which
see
was
that.
good. Um, but no, it was kind of interesting. I mean, it's funny. I know Jeremy Strong has got a lot of ink for his portrayal of Roy Cohn, right? Like people saying how amazing
Yeah, he
performance
was
is.
yeah, he was pretty good.
I mean,
I liked it.
yes and no. I mean, it is one of those performances that's just on the edge of tipping over into it's a bit much here and there, isn't it?
Right.
Isn't it a little bit?
I think
It's a little on the nose, I thought, here and there.
yeah, I mean it's a real person. I think that's probably what he was like actually.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't
James
know.
Woods played him in a film in the 90s, I remember.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And he's in, I can't remember
Yeah.
who plays him in that HBO miniseries, Angels in America as well, right? He's a character.
Oh, okay. He's in that
But I can't
one.
remember
Like,
who played him in it. On his deathbed.
okay.
I remember the nurse looking after him was what's his face? He was in American History. Was it that film you liked?
American History X
No, no,
with
no. What's it
Ed
called?
Norton.
American Justice. It
So
was the
many
film about
American
the black author who writes a book and then it's put in
American Fiction.
American Fiction.
Yeah, yeah.
Same guy in that.
Oh yeah. What's his face?
He's good.
The Watcher.
Is he the
Uh,
Watcher? Is he?
yeah, he's the Watcher in Marvel's What If. Yeah. Um,
Good show this,
yeah.
isn't it? Two blokes going, who's that fella in the
Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah, free ride. I like him, and
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
plays the nurse who looks after Roy Cohn in Angels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
remember who plays Roy Cohn.
Okay.
It
Anyway,
might be Al Pacino, actually. It's Al Pacino. There we go.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. That
yeah,
makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I thought Sebastian Stan was pretty good in that one. I thought it was good. Also I saw another Sebastian Stan movie, which was for makeup, which was have you seen this one? I thought you'd be interested in this one, which is what was it called? A
Oh, I know
Different
what you're
Day.
going to. Yes, I want to see this.
Yeah, I think you'd kind of enjoy that movie. Yeah,
Yes,
it's
it
kind
looks
of
very, very interesting. With that guy who was in Under the Skin, isn't it? Isn't he?
yeah, the guy who
Yeah,
actually looks like that is also in it. So yeah,
yeah.
so he's
And I'm
yeah.
very keen to see. Again, one I'm waiting to see if it might get a theatrical release here. So
Yeah,
hopefully,
it was really interesting. I enjoyed that a lot. It didn't get any like kind of bigger. It only has like the makeup award or whatever. It's
right.
only known for that. But I thought Sebastian Stan was pretty good, and it was really again really different. There's a lot of really. It kind of reminded me of The Substance a little bit in that it's in this tone at least, not really, but
Mm.
just sort of like it's kind of like dark and kind of weird and yeah. So it's yeah. I thought it was that was a good watch. I also saw Real Pain. The one with Kieran Culkin and
Oh
uh
yeah, the one when they visit one of the death camps.
they go to Poland. Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
which was also pretty. It was pretty good. Kieran Culkin was really good. He
right.
kind of played. I get the impression he's. I'm guessing that Kieran Culkin his character in that was kind of similar to his character in Succession, which makes me think that
Yeah,
maybe he's just kind of like that in real life.
I think so because I remember
Yeah.
hearing an interview with him about that film, and apparently, just the story goes, Jesse Eisenberg cast him because his
Because
sister
he's like that.
recommended him.
Okay.
Apparently, Jesse Eisenberg has never seen Succession, and
Okay.
neither has he ever seen a Kieran Culkin film in his life. But
Okay.
his sister said, "Oh, that Kieran Culkin would be perfect," and he cast him. Apparently,
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know that, man. But
and
anyway,
apparently, it is
he
spot
was
on
pretty good. Yep.
casting from what I've heard. Like
Yeah, it
he
was
has to
definitely
play
spot
that,
on.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely like yeah. I mean, he's the favorite to win the supporting actress, which rightfully so. He was really great in it. So, but I mean,
He's going to have
I
a
don't.
very
But again, I
interesting.
don't know how much of it was acting and how much of it was
Well,
just.
I think he's going to have a very interesting career just because he's kind of comes a little, obviously not as much as his brother, but he's brushed with whatever that is, that childhood fame that fucks so many people up, right? He's come close enough to the flame,
Sure. Yeah.
kind of survived it, and now he has a very like he has a in some ways now it just seems like oh he's playing himself, but he's still really young, right? And I
Uh,
get the feeling he's just going to get better, and he's going to learn how to manipulate that image of himself. Like he seems like
sure.
quite a smart
Yeah.
guy.
Probably. I think so. Yeah. I think yeah, he's probably able to get through it better than his brother was, right? So.
Well, also I think it's because yeah, yeah. So even though now he's getting a lot of smoke blown up his ass post Succession and stuff,
Mm,
like for most people that age when it happens, then that's when starts things going off the rails, right? But he's
mm.
already gone through it, right, when he was younger, or
Sure.
seen someone else
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
through it. So
Yeah.
I
Right.
would imagine he's pretty well armored up and ready to deal with it, right?
Right. Right. And then the last one I've seen that's kind of like on these lists is Flow,
Ah, okay, yeah.
which was like an animated and international one from Latvia,
Mhm.
which was really cool. It was really interesting. It was no speaking at all. It's totally silent film
Right.
and animated, really cool animation. It was really good actually. I really enjoyed that one. So
Okay,
yeah.
there we go.
So yeah, a lot of enjoyable things. There's some stuff I haven't seen yet. The Girl with the Needle, haven't seen.
I'm keen to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, The Seed of the Sacred Pig. I haven't
Yeah,
seen that
want
one
to
yet.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fig.
that one. I'm Still Here is the it's Brazilian that one I'm
The
thinking of.
Sacred
So
Fig one is particularly interesting because the director's like had to flee Iran, right? Since
oh right,
yeah, yeah, he's kind of in exile after making that film.
but it's a German film though, right?
Well, technically it's it's Germany's entry, but
Yeah,
it was all shot in Iran by
right, right,
Iranians.
right.
And apparently very much under the radar, like
Oh right.
guerrilla filmmaking. And then as soon as it was done, the director had to escape and flee. I don't know if he did flee to Germany, I'm not sure, but that's who's presenting it. Anyways, it's
Right,
German because Iran's not going to do it, right? Like,
sure. Oh,
uh,
I also am going to watch September 5 or
yeah, that
something.
looks interesting as well. Yeah,
So I'm going to watch that one
there's
too.
some interesting stuff.
Yeah, there is some
That's
really good
okay.
ones this year, I think. The other one I really want to see, which is nominated for some stuff, but I was wondering if maybe you're interested if we can go to a screening of that if it comes out, is Nosferatu.
Oh yes, I'm definitely up for seeing that. I've been waiting
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that to come out in the theater.
yeah.
Yeah,
If you can find a screen of that, I'll be up for seeing that with you.
I don't
So,
think it's out yet. The other one actually, I'm very keen to see. I think it comes out here maybe this month or March. Oh, hang on, fuck! It is almost March, isn't it? It is March.
it's March. It's
So it's
March
March.
1st.
It's coming out. Is Bong Joon-ho's new film, Mickey 17, with
Oh, yeah.
Robert
That's
Pattinson.
the who's in that again? That's
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Patterson. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That looks really good, actually. Yeah, yeah. I've
yeah.
seen.
I've read the novels in
Oh, really?
preparation. So yeah, yeah.
And they're good.
The first one is pretty good. The second one slightly less so.
Okay.
But the first one's a fun read, and I can certainly see it making for a cool film.
Huh.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see that. Well, there we go. That wraps up
Cool.
our roving
Yeah, that was long. That
reporter,
was 30 minutes of that. Sorry.
Ron from downtown Los Angeles, and
What?
his takes on who's going to win
Anyway, so yeah, like, jumping into what actually our movies we're talking about this week, right?
insider
Which is
stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
man on the street stuff, right? So, um, yeah. So, we were reacting to Wild at Heart, Nicolas
Hmm.
Cage last time. Rest in peace. Um,
Did Nicolas Cage die?
no,
Oh, David Lynch. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
David Lynch.
He's
Yeah,
still dead. Yeah,
yeah, he's still dead. Yeah, so
yeah.
it was David Lynch. And so I decided to keep with Nicolas Cage. 'Cause there's so much fun
There
Nicolas
is.
Cage stuff out there. So I was like, yeah, might as well keep with Nicolas Cage. And I
Keep it
chose one
cage.
that huh?
Keep it cagey.
Keep it cagey. Yeah. And decided to go with the more recent one that I hadn't seen, which I was kind of keen to see,
Hmm.
which was from 2022 called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Right.
Um, yeah, which is him with Pedro Pascal
Mm-hmm.
and Tiffany Haddish and Neil Patrick Harris is in it as well, and some other people. And
Michael Sheen's daughter, Lily Moore.
Michael Sheen's daughter, who's playing his daughter, yeah, Lily Mo Sheen. Because I think they want more Lily, but more Sheen, right? Lily Mo Sheen. She's Mo Sheen than Michael Sheen. Anyway, so um, written written and directed by Tom Gormican, who I'm not familiar with. Who what is was he done? Beverly Hills
Not
Cop
much, I don't think.
reboot, the Beverly Hills Cop reboot
The what?
screenplay.
Reboot?
Yeah, the sequel. Sorry, the sequel.
To what did you call biblical cops? What's that?
Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, I thought, what the fuck is biblical cops? That sounds interesting.
Beverly
Oh,
Hills.
Axel F, right?
Axel F. Yeah, he did the
Yeah.
screenplay for that. Yeah, not too much other stuff anyway. So, so this was kind of like a satire action comedy, where Cage plays an exaggerated fictional version of himself. I would assume
Right.
it's a fictional version of himself.
Two
Uh,
versions of himself as well. There's a younger
yes,
Nicky version, right? Who
yeah,
looks
Nick
very much straight out of Wild at Heart, actually.
Well at Heart, yeah,
Yeah.
which I'm sure it was from one particular movie. I'm not sure if it was necessarily Well at Heart or if it
No,
was a
I think
different
it's is it him is that what he looks like in Moonstruck, maybe?
Moonstruck. Yeah, maybe Moonstruck. Yeah, maybe. So it's yeah, because there is like a clip from Moonstruck at one point in the movie, right, where
And
they're
Con
watching
Air, right?
and Con Air, yeah, Con Air,
In
yeah.
fact, it's funny that I didn't look it up. That is a clip from Con Air, is it, at the very beginning?
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's amazing to me because I was watching it and I was laughing. The only time I really laughed in the film, to be honest with you. And I was laughing, and at first I thought, oh, that's kind of funny. They've really replicated how ridiculous, that kind of scene at the end of the film. And then it dawned on me, oh fuck, no, that is the film. Like
Yeah.
that film is that, which I remember enjoying back in the day, but I was like,
Yeah,
fuck,
Con Air. Yeah, I used to love Con Air, yeah.
is it that corny, the ending
I'm
of that
sure it
film?
is. I'm sure it is.
I mean,
It
it's
can't not
fucking
be, right? I mean,
ridiculous.
it was
And
like
I bought you your favorite doll. Thanks,
put the
Daddy.
bunny back in the box. But I think, I mean, I mean, Con Air, to my memory, I haven't seen it in years, but I remember it being like almost kind of taking the piss out of
It's
itself.
pretty tongue in cheek. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure it
Yeah.
knew it was corny, but it was doing it it was purposely corny, right? So it was,
Right.
I mean, to put the bunny back in the box was supposed to be stupid, right? I mean
I
that's the
guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
because
I was kind of
it was
surprised. Oh,
taking like the tough guy and putting it about like stupid things like bunnies,
yeah.
right? So I'm sure it was like a
Yeah.
satirical take on that. So
And that comes at the very end. So the I don't know who she is, but she's cute. The actress playing the daughter who gets kidnapped is because there's a
oh
kidnapping
yeah,
story in there as well, isn't there?
Alessandra Mastronardi.
Ah, it could be, yeah.
Yeah. So um. Yes. So yeah. And so anyway, so it's about and then how do you
But
summarize it?
it's
So
meta, isn't it? Is what
yeah,
it
it's
is.
very, very
Yeah,
meta.
yeah,
It's all about kind of like in jokes about, him kind of making fun of himself or winking at the audience, a lot of stuff. And
right. He owes a
um
lot of taxes. Uh, you know,
yeah, yeah.
keeps making movie after film after film after film after film
Yeah.
just to pay the
Pay the
bills.
bills, right?
Yeah,
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 because he's got a gambling problem or whatever it is, right? So
right.
um and yeah, but so the framework is that some like there's these kind of random Mexican, I guess Mexican or was it Mexican?
Well, he
Is it
goes to Spain, doesn't he?
Spain?
He
Is it
goes to
Spain? So,
Mallorca.
so I
Yeah.
guess it's a Spanish couple are watching like a Nicolas Cage movie, like Nicolas Cage is so awesome, right? And then these people come in
How do they
and
say it?
so awesome, yeah. Except in awesome, I don't know how to do it in a Spanish accent, right? So
Right. I can tell.
el awesome, awesome, right?
Los Osamas.
Los
Yeah, yeah,
hacemos,
yeah.
hacemos. Right. And so they kidnap them and we don't know who it is, but then it turns out that it's like the daughter of some political person or something
Yeah, I
like
think
that,
it
right?
might even be supposed to be the It's an odd.
President's daughter or something, right? So
It's an weird set. I have to say, like, if they'd have set it, if they'd have set it in, and I guess this might have gone through the rewrite machine.
hmm,
It seems like it would make more sense if it had been set in Mexico or somewhere like that, right?
right.
That makes a lot more sense. It's like something that, but Spain, really? There's a like a fucking because yeah, it's basically they don't come out and say it, but it's basically like a narco syndicate who've
Yeah.
kidnapped the daughter,
That's
right?
why I thought it was Mexico, right?
And that could even
Or
be
South
that
America,
might be a
whatever.
joke. That might be a
Yeah,
joke.
I think a lot of it is a joke, right? So
Yeah,
it's
but that's a
um
pretty
but
odd.
it was filmed in Hungary and Croatia. So
Ah, that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, so um but anyway, so then so somehow uh so Nicolas Cage is kind of running out of money and then he gets asked to go be present at some rich guy's birthday party and he
Pedro
needs money.
Pascal, who's a super
It
fan, right?
ends up being Pedro Pascal, who he suspects through, and then he ends up getting kind of hired by the CIA to kind of spy on this guy, thinking like he's a big narco.
Pedro Pascal as well, easily the best thing in the film. Like,
Yeah, Pedro Pascal is awesome. Yeah,
well,
well, I
whatever
think,
Nicolas
and
Cage.
Nicolas Cage is always fun too. I think Nicolas Cage.
Well, yeah, but he's
Yeah,
trying like whatever Nicolas Cage is trying really hard to do. Pedro Pascal just seems to be doing effortlessly.
yes, yes. Well, Pedro Pascal is awesome. I mean,
He
that
is
goes
good.
without saying.
He is good. I like him a
But
lot.
but but
I have
I
a
can't
friend who
believe it.
looks a bit like him, actually.
Who?
I have a friend who looks a bit like
Oh,
him.
really?
Yeah.
Lucky him. Pedro Pascal is like a huge sex symbol right now. So
Well,
he's
and
like,
older. He's like a little bit looks like him, and he looks a little bit like Antonio Banderas, but kind of like a weird.
both sexy Latin guys,
Yeah,
right?
but
So
my friend doesn't really pull it off in the same way. He's kind of, I don't know, crossed with like Jerry Lewis or something.
I hope he.
Something wrong somewhere along the
I
way.
hope he's watching this.
He might. Really.
Um. So Anyway, you said you didn't laugh at it, but you didn't laugh when Nicolas Cage was like Nicholas motherfucker Cage
I
like that.
especially didn't laugh at that.
No, I thought that was funny. I thought it was, I enjoyed that. So
Well, I was
I thought.
wondering if you got on with it or not, because so this was a film I was actually quite glad you picked.
Mm.
Um, because I was aware of sorry, Ron, it just occurred to me. It's quite funny. I don't know if you thought about this, but I'm wondering if Lily Mosheen is supposed to be like more Sheen
Hmm.
than her father.
That's a good one.
That's
That
that's quite
that
an
is a good
amusing
joke.
little thought.
Damn, that's a good joke.
She's
Yeah.
what's her face's daughter as well, isn't she? the one you fancy, the bird from Underworld.
Oh yes, yeah. Kate Beckinsale. Yeah,
Yes, there we go. She does look quite a bit like
yes,
her, actually. Yeah,
yeah. Kate Beckinsale and Michael Sheen's daughter. Yeah. So yeah.
yeah. So I wanted I remember this film coming out, and it was one of those things I was like, oh, I hope this is good, because the idea of a Nicolas Cage meta movie where Nicolas Cage kind of plays Nicolas Cage and
Hmm.
making fun of himself, it sounds great.
It
Like,
sounds
it
inspired, right?
sounds great. And
Yeah. Yeah.
oddly enough, it's not the only time he's done it as well, right? Like, even going back to like adaptation, there's
Ah,
a
sure.
little bit of that in there. And there's that
Well, but
other one.
he's really playing Charlie Kaufman in that movie, right? So
Yeah, and Dream Scenario as well recently.
I
There's
haven't
like a
seen
lot
that one
in
yet.
there.
That's next time I like. But yeah,
Right.
so I didn't think you'd get on with Dream Scenario
I haven't
because
seen
you
it. I haven't seen it. But
because you don't
it's
like that guy,
some of
right?
that is in there, right?
Right.
That making fun of, because he does have a
But
he's
Dream
got
Scenario
like,
was actually after this one, right?
yes, it was,
So
yeah. So
so yeah, so
it's got like the perfect he's got the perfect media image to do that with, right? Like,
right.
not I think not many people could get away with it without it seeming kind of bizarre, or
Well,
like,
I mean, there is kind of like a small subgenre, like a cliquey subgenre of movies of actors playing
yes,
fictional versions of themselves, which is are kind of fun. Like wasn't there like a Jean-Claude Van Damme one a few years
yeah,
back?
JCVD. There's that
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix one.
Did he play himself?
I'm not really here, or I wasn't really here, or something, or where he like pretended that he was quitting acting and becoming like a hip hop artist or something,
Oh, really?
and
Okay.
people weren't sure whether to take it seriously or not. Um,
Okay.
and the thing is that they're inherently incredibly self-indulgent,
Sure, yeah, of
but
course.
if you can do it
But they're
well,
with
then it
people that
works.
I mean, with Nicolas Cage, I think it's almost like you expect him to be sort of
Exactly. Yeah.
self-indulgent, so it's you can laugh at it, right? So
Yeah.
that's the idea.
Yeah. So, and I remember thinking, oh, great. And then I heard some reviews from people whose opinion, and they had that sinking feeling. I thought they were like, I really wanted to like this, I really wanted to like this, but it just doesn't work. So unfortunately, I thought, yeah, no, I'm probably not going to like this. I'm curious, but you went ahead and chose it, so that's like, oh, okay, there we go. That's my excuse to watch it. Unfortunately, yeah, it didn't surprise. I thought, hoping against hope, maybe it's more fun than I've heard, but it just didn't, like, such a missed opportunity, I
Yeah.
thought. Did you get on with it a bit better? Did you?
Yeah, I got on it. I thought it was good fun. Yeah, I mean, because I hadn't set myself up for it like you had, and I think
Okay.
probably by reading those reviews, you almost like kind of assumed you were not going to like it, kind of thing. But I actually didn't know much about it going in. I
Hmm.
didn't know, and I kind of purposely didn't read anything about it, and because of that, I would kind of went in fresh, and I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. Yeah, I thought it was really funny, and I enjoyed Nicolas Cage's kind of winks at the audience and kind of, making fun of himself a little bit, which, if anyone can, he should, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
And
think
I
with
love
him,
Pedro Pascal. And as you said, Pedro Pascal was
Pedro
just
Pascal's fun, yeah,
like, it
but
was effortless, and
yeah.
it was fun. I mean, yeah, it could have been more, it could have been better, but, I took it for what it was, and I think it was pretty successful and made me laugh, and I enjoyed it. It was, I chuckled, several times, and yeah, so it was good. It was good for what it was.
I
So,
think the problem with Nicolas Cage is he's almost turned it into a bit of a cottage industry now to
hmm,
be Nicolas Cage, right?
sure.
A lot of it's very easy to forget that he can be fucking good. Like, when he's on,
Hmm,
like, he can be
sure.
seriously, like, really good.
Yeah, yeah.
It taps into it. And I think the other thing I have a problem with as well with it is it chickens out from, like, it's supposed to be a parody of those kind of, like that scene in Con Air, right? It's
Hmm.
supposed to be ridiculous, and he turns up and he rescues the daughter, and is making fun of those kind of stupid action adventure films, right? But it crosses the line from satirizing it, and it just becomes another one of those films, and it has like a super sentimental ending, and it's like, yeah, but just copying, we've talked about this before, right, with parody things, just copying the thing doesn't make it funny,
Hmm.
right? So I was like, what, it's kind of chickened out. Like, I wish it had gone for it a bit more full throttle. And the other thing as well was like, uh so the thing is, they're making fun of the whole Nicolas Cage just churning out endless films or whatever, and then he wants to make this big important film. So it's almost built into its DNA that they don't want to make the film too much of a big deal, and it's supposed to be kind of light and breezy and stuff. But I was thinking, what a shame that they didn't actually take it a bit more seriously. It's a shame that they didn't actually like. I mean, Nicolas Cage's as an icon and his career and his personal life and everything. There's so much there. You could actually make a like you could make a really he's perfect material for doing a proper fucking up down takedown of Hollywood, right?
Hmm.
And really take them to the cleaners. But it doesn't. It just wants to have a bit of fun. And it's just a bit
I
of a
don't know. I
shame.
think
Like,
this is exactly the same conversation we had with Nick about my choice, which was the
almost famous.
Almost Famous, which is I think the same thing is that you guys are seem to be mad because it wasn't something else
Yeah, it's
instead
true.
of just
Yeah.
instead of just saying what was it good at what it actually was, right? Which is, because I don't like same with Almost Famous is like you're like, well, why didn't it do this? Well, because it didn't want to do that. If it wanted to do that, it would have done it. Same with this one. It's like you can't fault it for not taking down Hollywood
No,
because it
no.
wasn't meant to do that, right? So I think they wanted to just to have a bit of fun, I think so. And
Yes.
I think that if you take it on that level, then it was successful, right? Because I think it was a
Yeah,
bit of
but at the
fun.
same, but the thing is, you can't fault a turd for being a turd, but it's still a turd.
Yeah, sure, but I would call this a turd by any stretch of the
No,
imagination.
no, no, I wouldn't go that far, but it's okay, well, yeah. I mean, even within its own what it was attempting to do, I don't think it was like it could have been funnier.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't.
More
I
jokes
wouldn't
would
say
have
it
been
was like the best this movie could have been. I'm not saying it couldn't have been
right,
better.
right.
I'm not saying it was like the best of this kind of movie, but I still think it was relatively successful in what it was trying to do and entertain me for a couple hours. I never got bored. It made me laugh a couple times. So hey, in that case, it was pretty successful. I mean, sure, it always could be better here or there, but I don't know. I don't know if that's the point, right? The point is that, was it good what we watched? Yeah, I enjoyed it. So, that's all I
And
can say.
Demi Moore turns up for no
And
good reason.
David Moore turns up, yes,
Yeah.
at the end. As
Um,
as the when they showing
yeah,
um
I think
the,
I just wished
the movie
I'd
version of this movie.
I think I just wished I'd laughed more.
Sure. But I
I
mean,
mean,
we've talked about that too, is that you and I have very different senses of humor. So I think what I laugh at, you don't laugh at. So yes.
maybe, maybe.
I
But it
think
was
so.
funny that I was watching it. I couldn't. I guessed you'd probably enjoy it a bit more than me, but I wasn't quite sure if you would have actually quite enjoyed it. And you do seem to have quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, especially no, all right, so I'll say that, but I got on with it. I thought it was a good watch. I'd watch it again, yeah, if
Okay.
someone wanted to me. So
In that case, then let's race on and let's see if we can get this done because
yeah.
you did actually choose a film that was more entertaining than my choice.
Speaking of turds,
Yeah, yours was definitely. So this was a very so I was looking at the cast and crew of Wild at Heart, and I could go this way and I could go that way, a lot of different ways. But almost every way was either an American film or an English language film, and we've watched too many of them recently. So I wanted to veer away. Um, that's kind of I feel that's one of my roles on this show is to maybe go a bit further afield now and again. Why is a foreign language boring, Ron?
well, just your is how maybe come down off that pedestal there a bit.
Well, no, but it is. I mean, if you only watch English language films, it is very limiting, isn't it? So,
Sure.
and we'd watched like I don't know 6 or 7 in a row. I noticed, like I kind of keep an eye on that stuff. So I thought, so luckily there's another film called Wild at Heart.
Luckily.
Yes. So I was like, oh, okay, great. I can go that way. Let's choose another film called Wild at Heart. It's a category three, 1993 Hong Kong movie.
What does
Um,
category three That's the production
oh,
company?
no, category three was when did it come in? Late 80s, I think. So category three was the censorship, the censor well, the rating, sorry, the rating bracket that was created for, I suppose the equivalent would be NC-17.
Oh, okay.
So usually for sex, as in the case of this film, but sometimes for violence or um like triad stuff, which you're not allowed to talk about. And so
Ah,
previous to the category three rating, stuff would have been cut. So the category three rating was created, and there were a few big hits. And then this was one of just endless kind of category three films that for usually for sex. Um, so yeah, so this was a strategic move on my part, not just to pivot away a little bit from English language, but also because I thought, okay, good, I can now choose something else in reaction to this because I wanted to talk about some Cat 3 stuff. But next time I can choose a good Cat 3 film as opposed to I'd never seen this before. I didn't know anything about this film. It's got two directors, amazingly, Ho Fan and Cash Chin. Stars Dick Lau as a guy who works for an advertising company, right? Married man who has a boss, a female boss who demands sex from him and also insists that he doesn't fuck anyone else, right? And then at the same time, he falls for this other woman who he tries to get with. So the rest of the film is the hilarious ups and downs of this guy trying to get with this other woman and cheat on his wife. And he has do you remember that show Dream On?
yep.
He like Dream On style, they don't use film clips like they did in Dream On, but he imagines what will happen in such situations. He has daydreams, right?
Right.
And then the reality is always not what he expects. So yeah, so I suppose it's a knockabout sex comedy uh that isn't very good at all. Is it, Ron?
No, it wasn't.
I mean, it's got some nudity and sex scenes, which are, I mean, they are what they are. They're all right, I suppose. Um, uh, I mean, it's not funny.
No.
I mean, yeah, I don't think there was one bit in it. I don't think there was anything I laughed at. Yeah, it's more pathetic than anything else, I think,
Yeah.
really. But
Yeah, that's a good word for it. Very
it's
pathetic.
quite a
Yeah.
sad little story about this
Yeah.
weird dude, our
Yeah,
hero.
who apparently is like is just like basically a playboy and fucks around, but we're supposed to root for him to win in the end, even though he's the whole thing is about him just cheating on everybody. And I was like,
Right.
well, I don't know.
He even tries to knock out his own missus, right, by putting some drug in a drink so he can
Yeah.
go out.
He's like uses rubber will hypnol so he can go and fuck some other girl and yeah, go for it. Hope he gets
Yeah.
through
I
it.
mean, while
I don't
his
know. It's
friend sits in the
very
toilet and
misguided.
pretends to be him. And
Yeah,
yeah.
his friend is hiding in the bathroom pretending to be him and yeah, it was yeah, and then they all catch him at the end and to punish him they all take their clothes off. It
Yeah,
was
that'll
that
teach
was
him.
that'll teach him.
Um, no, it's pretty terrible, I have to admit. It's the only thing I would say, not in its favor exactly, but just might be of interest to some people who, if they've never seen a category three film or just curious, it is actually, even though it's nowhere near like the best of a, you know, it's not, it's awful, but it is a good example of what a lot of these films were like, though. They have this kind of weird mixture of unfunny comedy and slightly dodgy moral tone where you're supposed to root for kind of a dick, well, literally Dick Lau in this case. Um, so they have this, it feels a bit sleazy, doesn't it? It feels kind of
Yeah.
and clean, and but that works for other, like this isn't a good example, so it doesn't matter, but it is a good example of that kind of sleazy sheen that all these films have. And if it's a good version of that, then um there's something extremely satisfyingly sleazy about it. And that's what I'll choose next time. But in the case of this film,
Actually,
uh,
actually, I've got something to say about that.
okay,
I have a new rule. Okay, from
okay,
now,
right.
no more porn.
This isn't porn.
I would call this porn. It's softcore porn, but it's still porn, right? So basically, yeah,
Really?
no more, no, no more porn, no more softcore or hardcore porn.
Well, we
Uh,
haven't watched that much.
yeah, well, no more. I can't take it anymore. It's yeah. Also, I wasn't prepared for this one, and I was watching it on the train. So yeah, um,
Ah,
yeah, no more porn, no more porn, please.
okay. Well,
Yeah,
I'd question if this comes into that, but yes, okay, I'll keep
I
that
mean
in
it's
mind.
like half sex. I mean, yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Well,
Yeah,
no, the next
I would
thing
say it's a
I've got
porn.
a few things in mind for the next thing, but they're more I mean they're certainly not for the train, but they're it's more of a mix of other things, right? Like it's not
Yeah,
this is just sex all the way, right? But the best category three also has, their sex and violence or their horror films or that happen to have nudity or stuff like
right.
that, right? So I certainly can't promise no sex and nudity, but I'll try and stay away from stuff which is primarily sex and nudity then. Let's put
Thank
it
you.
that way. Just
Yeah.
because you you have no appreciation for it. I
No,
anyway.
I
It's
don't.
like
So yeah, and I won't ever.
it's not
I doubt we'll ever find one that I'll enjoy. So
right.
like that'll be like, well, so there's no point in talking about and watching them and talking about because
Right,
it's
right.
not like I'm going to suddenly come
Right,
around on
right.
them.
It's
Yeah.
not
So
pills before swine.
what I
It's
mean, that's what I was saying. So like let's just bypass those ones. I mean, so there's no
yes. Well, I didn't
yeah,
have any particularly lined up because I already came to kind of that conclusion
yeah,
myself. Like I said, this was a kind of I didn't quite know what this was going to be.
right. Okay.
And it was just like a pivot point, and I thought, oh, that's cute. Two films with the same title. That's a thing to do, right? Sometimes
Sure.
you
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
shake the
Yeah.
format up a little bit,
Right, right, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
sometimes yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah. So
Yeah, just
literally
throw
didn't.
the dice.
Yeah,
And
it was. Yeah, this was a real like. Oh, what
I mean,
I used
it
to do
wasn't
the
that
blind
hard for
watch.
me
I was
to
like,
watch.
oh, come on, this.
I'm sure it was a much harder watch for you than it was for me. It
Yeah,
wasn't a hard
it
one,
was.
but
Well, to be honest,
it's not
it
much to say
started
about
out fine. Like I kind of like the first like 10 minutes or so was like, oh, okay, what is this? He's kind of breaking the fourth wall.
it.
It's kind
Mm,
of this kind of goofy comedy, kind of, they're kind of, very kind of over the top kind of, it's like, oh, this might be okay. This kind of raunchy comedy is okay, kind of thing. But then it was just turned into like that sex scene with like with the pipe and I was like, oh, okay, come on. And then it was just over and over and over again. So I was like, oh, okay, I don't. And then they're screwing like fucking while they're driving and stuff. It's like it was, yeah, I was like. Okay, yeah. So it's just I was like, yeah, I lost me on that, and then it just sort of, yeah, it was. I got nothing to say about it, so it
no,
was
I don't
just,
have anything to say, but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
quite interesting sometimes to have this experiment. You have relative to other things. It's odd. I was watching this, and even though I didn't think it was any good, I have to admit, and you'll probably laugh at this. You'll probably think it's strange, but I actually did, in comparison with a lot of the other stuff that I watch, I was thinking, oh, at least they didn't go overboard with the sex. I thought, like, I genuinely
really,
thought, oh, this is
really,
fairly well balanced. Like, there's not too
really,
much sex in this. Yeah, uh,
really.
yeah,
I would have called this a softcore porn. So I mean,
because there's other films which that's all it is, right? Like
yeah,
there's
sure, sure.
even less
But
bits of
this
content.
reminded me, um, to some degree of the movie we saw at the Pink Theater.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
right, right.
yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is
No, no, you're in the right kind of
yeah. So and if
wheelhouse.
they
Yeah.
played at that, and then it's it's that kind of movie, right? So I think it's yeah. So I think in tone and kind of level of sex, it was around the same as that one, right? So
Yeah, although that probably had even more sex in it, maybe. But I mean, this did have, like there was like there was a brief, there was scene where he kind of sees himself as Wong Fei Hung, and it turns into a kung fu fight for a little bit, and then there's some
Sure. Yeah.
chases and
Yeah.
comedy stuff that isn't funny. So
Yeah.
it
Well,
wasn't
I mean,
wall to
but like
wall sex.
the that one that we saw at the Pig Theater, the friend.
Mm.
Remember, there was like the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
friend.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like his style of acting was like the same as this movie, right? It was like
Yeah,
this kind of
that's true. Yeah, yeah,
over
that's
the top.
yeah,
So it was like
very
this.
broad.
It was very, very similar. I thought, and there's
Right.
a lot of overlap in those two. So if it's that kind of film, we don't need to talk about it on this show. I think.
Right. No, no, no.
Yes.
That's yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah. So that's
Um,
right.
so there we go.
Yeah.
Two quite different.
Wild at Hearts. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, both Wild at Heart
Wild
and
at Heart. Yeah. So.
Crazy on
But
Top.
so anyway, what I was going to say before was that, whether or not you liked the massive weight of unbearable
Mm,
talent,
mm.
it was much preferable to this one, right? So I
My
mean,
problem, there was too
yeah,
much
yeah.
sex in it.
Was that
There was too much sex in it.
too much sex in it?
Yeah,
And massive talent? Yeah,
yeah. It was
yeah,
just
yeah.
I had to look away.
Well, it was a lot of self-masturbatory, that's for sure.
Well, there we go. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The whole thing was kind of him wanking himself off, right? So
We found out that yeah, yeah. But Pedro Pascal is it seems to be bulletproof.
yes, he really is. He could do no wrong, that guy, man.
He
Yeah,
could have been
he's
in Wild at Heart, this one, and he
sure, and it would have
got
been
away with
great.
it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure it would have been. Yeah, he would have elevated it. I'm sure. Yeah. So yeah,
So hmm,
there we go.
there we go. All
So, but
right.
now the problem is, how are we supposed to respond to this movie?
Oh well, I've got a whole bunch of stuff lined up.
Well, I got nothing though.
Ah, well, there's the challenge, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll figure it out. You'll thematics,
Yeah. Screwball raunchy comedies. Is that okay?
yeah, or sexual harassment in the
Yeah.
workplace.
Harassment. Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
people
Drugging and raping women.
with ridiculous, cool-looking but seemingly functionless apartments. Like the apartment in this film they
Yeah.
have, like with that
That was like,
elevated. Yeah, it's like what the fuck?
yeah. I
Where
was
do
like,
they live?
I even said that. I was like, who lives here?
I mean, it looks cool, but it doesn't seem
Yeah.
very practical.
It's so like why like you have this staircase to this kind of like loft area, but it's like there's no railing around it, and
Yeah.
it's just like super high like
Difficult to
second
heat.
floor
Yeah.
that you could just like it's like who
Yeah. I
who
mean,
lives
if I was shopping for if I saw it, I'd be tempted, like, oh, this was cool. But yeah, it doesn't
wouldn't want to
seem very
live there though. I
practical.
don't think it's very impractical. So yeah.
So there we
Um
go. That's another angle. Impractical apartment. I mean, there's lots of them, right, in films. There's lots of people
sure.
living in places. The main character, like one of them works in a bakery, and the others, like works in a video store, but they live in like a fucking mansion on the Upper
Right.
East Side or something. Yeah. Anyway, all will be revealed
Yes.
next time on the Magic Morning Wood.